Location, location, location. The Battle of Bunker Hill. By June 1775, 15,000 colonial militiamen encircled Boston. They had no cannon with which to bombard the city, nor did they have a navy, which meant that the English living in the city could get all the supplies that they needed through the harbor. Even with that, the English were concerned about the hills to the north and to the south of the city, that should the colonists put cannons up on either of those hills, their relatively safe and secure home would be subject to assault. When the colonists, led by Ethan Allen and his Green Mountain Boys, captured Fort Ticonderoga, a lightly held British installation on what is now the Vermont-New York border, in May of 1775, the English concern about them not controlling the high ground developed into panic. With that in mind, the English made plans to capture both the heights in Charlestown to the north and Dorchester to the south of the city. The problem that they faced was that the colonists heard about their plans ahead of time and worked to set up an attack first. On the night of June 16, 1775, the colonists moved into position on the Charlestown Peninsula, some at Bunker Hill, the highest point of land in Charlestown, but most on the more forward Breed's Hill, which would be the point closest to the English attack. When the English woke up on the morning of June 17, 1775, they saw colonial militia dug in on the peninsula and knew that they had to be driven off those hills. Their attack strategy was to divide their force, some making a feint or secondary attack designed to draw the attention of the opponent up the front of Breed's Hill, while the remainder of the force would loop around and work to get to the rear of Breed's Hill and envelop the militia. By the time the colonists realized what was happening, they could not send reinforcements because the British-English gunships prevented them from crossing on the peninsula from Cambridge. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the British were ready to launch their assault. The two-pronged English assault tried to storm up Breed's Hill and over a stone wall, but were turned back by the colonists. They tried a second time, only to have that assault turned back as well. The colonists, who could not be resupplied, were running low on ammunition. Some had even gone so far as to put rocks and broken bits of glass in their muskets as ammunition. They were encouraged to save any ammunition they had left by Colonel William Prescott, who said, "Don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes." By the time the English launched their third assault, with some reinforcements of their own, the colonists had nothing left to fight with. They were overwhelmed by the attacking Redcoats, and after some bitter hand-to-hand combat, were forced to retreat to Bunker Hill, and then off the peninsula altogether. The English had won the battle, but were far too tired to pursue the colonial militia. Their victory was seen as a Pyrrhic one, in reference to the Greek military leader Pyrrhus, whose military victories cost the Greeks many lives. The English had lost 1,000 soldiers killed or wounded, as opposed to less than 500 casualties in the colonial militia.